Chat, this is my second time recording this video. Anyway, we're back in the OG room with the bisexual line. Y'all think I'm joking about the lighting. I'm getting gayer by the second, the more it reflects off of me, I feel like. Anyway, when I first found out I was trans, I was going into a lot of these communities, Discords, Reddit, a lot of these spaces for trans people so that I could ask questions and learn. To be honest, I did not know what the frick some of these guys were saying. They were using all these terms and phrases, and I don't know, I just didn't know what they meant. And I don't want the new gen of trans people coming in and just not knowing what the frick is going on. So I figured I'd create like a guide or a list on like all the trans terms and phrases that might be a little confusing to somebody who's never seen them before. Okay, let's start simple with number 0, trans. This is someone who transitions out of the gender they were assigned at birth. That's the gist of what a trans person is. Number 2, Blahaj. It's the trans mascot. You know how college football teams have a mascot that's like a bear, like a chupacabra or something like that? We have one too, and it's an IKEA plushie shirt. There's debate on why it's our mascot. Some say it's because the colors like match the trans flag. Some say it's just because it's cute. Honestly, for me, it's both. It's both of those things. Okay, number 2, programmer socks. They're basically just thigh highs or like really long socks, which are referred to in the femboy and some trans communities as programmer socks because a lot of trans people are programmers. Don't know why, but that's just how it is. And they wear thigh highs because they're cute and comfy and they look good with skirts, which all are very, comfortable when having long programming sessions when you're typing for a long time. So that's why we call them programmer socks. Okay, number 3, non-binary. Now, binary means 2. So when somebody's non-binary, means they don't conform to the main 2 genders. Most non-binary people go by they, them, and for this and a lot of other reasons, there's a lot of debate within gender theory communities on whether they're actually trans or not, but they're still transitioning out of the gender that they were born as, even if it's not into another gender, which is why they're trans again, in my humble opinion. Okay, the number 4, gender fluid. It's people who feel that they conform to multiple genders at the same time or at different times, but not just one, right? So like Monday, I feel like a boy, and then Saturday, I might feel like a girl, or maybe today, I feel like a girl and a boy at the same time. And sometimes you'll see non-binary and gender fluid used in conjunction with each other. Number 5, FTM. This just means female to male. Number 6, MTF. That's going to be male to female. Okay, number 7, AMAB, a male at birth. And then 8 is going to be AFAB, a female at birth. You're going to see a lot of those terms on like Reddit spaces and things like that. Number 9 is Celeste, which is a game popularized within the trans community because it features a trans main protagonist, and the game also gives like subtle hints and nods to the trans community. So it's a game that, people really like. Okay, number 10, passing. This is when people don't realize you're trans. Like your hormone replacement therapy is going so well, or your face is just pure luck that people don't realize that you're trans. Which brings us to 11, HRT, hormone replacement therapy. And I mean, it is what it sounds like. It's the process of changing the hormonal levels in your body to more fit your gender. Okay, number 12, cis. This is someone who is not trans. Another term which I don't think is in this list is the term cishet, which is just cis, which stands for cis heterosexual, which is just not trans and also straight. So like normies, basically. Number 13, egg. Someone who shows signs of being trans but doesn't realize it themselves. I just know that last one is going to be clipped up and sent to eggs who are oblivious of what egg means. Lip it and ship it, girlies. Okay, number 14, transfeminine. This is a feminine presenting trans person. So feminine presenting. They look feminine. Same thing with number 15, transmasculine. A masculine presenting trans person. Okay, number 16, transmedicalism. I debated keeping this in the video, but you guys are going to hear the term anyway, so I might as well just get it out of the way, Transmedicalists are trans people who believe that only trans people who desire a genital changeover are actually trans. They say that everybody who doesn't want the surgery actually has AGP, autogynephilia, a condition which entails dressing up as a woman for bed pleasure. Stop worrying. You don't have it, I can sense the imposter syndrome through the screen. You're trans, or, you know, you might be, but you definitely don't have AGP. Most of these little terms come from transphobic trans people. The same way there are racist Black people and homophobic gay people. There are transphobic trans people. It's a form of internalized transphobia and gatekeeping after other trans people have reached their goals, basically. Also, bonus, imposter syndrome. I didn't even mention that on this list. And imposter syndrome is just going to be when you think you're not girl enough to be trans or not manly enough to be trans. It's common amongst early transitioners. And basically, to beat this, you just have to remember that you are early in your transition. Especially when you haven't started HRT, of course, you're going to think you're not girl enough. Don't worry about that feeling. Okay, number 17, detransition. It's the act of physically and socially transitioning back to your born gender. Trans people mostly do this because they don't have enough money to support their transition, or they feel like they'll face less discrimination if they just go back. That's what happens most of the time. And of course, in some very minuscule cases, you just figure out, hey, I'm not trans. You know, detransitioning is kind of rare, but it still happens. Okay, number 18, testosterone, the male hormone. And then number 19, estrogen, the female hormone. Okay, number 20, clock or clock. It's when somebody notices that you're not cis. So they realize that you're trans either from your facial feature or voice. So that's what somebody means when they say, oh, I went to the store and I got clocked by the cashier, you know? Okay, number 21, Enby. This is just going to be short for non-binary, the term we talked about earlier. Number 22, Deadname. This is your name before you transition socially. So my name now is Efren and my dead name is Odin. When somebody says they were dead named, it means like a family member or somebody who knew them before they transitioned called them by their old name. It's kind of disrespectful to do that, but some people just keep their name and they don't mind it. Okay, number 23, Boymode / girl mode. This is the act of pretending to be the gender that you were assigned at birth to get through a social event or like a difficult time period. Usually people early in their transition do this, like I'm going to play by society's rules for like an hour so I can get through this wedding type of thing, you know? Okay, number 24, Euphoria. It's the rewarding feeling when your body more aligns with your gender. And then number 25, dysphoria. It's the unfortunate feeling when your body doesn't quite align with your gender. You kind of just know the feeling when you feel it. Okay, number 26, binder or binding. It's a clothing device that when worn can sort of camouflage your breasts so that you look more flat-chested. Most of the time used by trans men. Okay, number 27, top surgery. It's usually a surgery referring to removing your breasts within the trans community. And then number 28, bottom surgery, which is a surgery to modify your downstairs genitals to more align with your gender. Right, 29, pre-op, meaning before any operation or surgery. 30, post-op, meaning after any medical operation or surgery. All right, 31, TERF. Again, this is another term I didn't want to explain, but you're going to hear it anyway. So I'd rather you have it come from me than the TERFs themselves. And TERF stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists. It's women who call themselves feminists who think that being trans is a way for men to intrude on women's spaces. It's a failed version of performative progressivism. We're progressive, but not that progressive, basically. 32, FFS. It stands for facial feminization surgery, a surgery to make you look more feminine in your face. And then 33, SRS, which is an umbrella term for all kinds of gender affirming surgery. Number 34, T4T. This is two trans people of any variety entering a relationship. Quite beautiful. Okay, lastly, tucking. It's the act of camouflaging one's downstairs so it looks more woman-like. Similar to binding for trans men. Okay, chat, a lot of these were like my own personal definitions and mixed in with some of my opinions and collaborated with some online resources. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. And I also know there are some like gender study freaks who are going to be in the comments like critiquing some of my definitions, and that's fully welcome. I want that. I think that's going to be helpful for like all of these new like trans people coming into the community. Like they need that. So feel free to look at that down below. But mainly I'm just so happy to be back from my break. Obviously November 5th had us all shook. So I just hope that you guys are staying safe, you know. Of course, if you need somebody to talk to or need friends who are trans, go ahead and join Trans Inc., which is our Discord server down below. And while you're at it, hey, follow me on Blue Sky. I'll leave the link also down in the description. I loved filming this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.